This is America's most brutal weapon, the bunker buster. A single one once killed over 5,000 civilians. It's been called the nemesis of every bunker on Earth, but China actually found a way to counter it. And the secret weapon? Chinese concrete. The bunker buster traces its origins back to World War II, when the heavily fortified concrete bunkers built by the Allies were a constant nightmare for the Germans. To deal with this problem, German engineers developed a bunker-busting shell, capable of blasting through 4 meters of reinforced concrete, causing the Allies massive headaches. And that was the forerunner of the modern bunker buster. Because this type of munition performed so well in World War II, after the war ended, more and more countries started developing their own versions, and the United States led the pack. The design works a lot like a bullet, a sharp, pointed warhead, minimizes resistance as much as possible, driving it deep underground. Then multi-stage explosions blast through the earth along the way, pushing it even deeper before delivering a devastating strike from below. This weapon has a ton of advantages over other types of munitions. First off, the destructive power is immense. A conventional missile explodes the second it hits the surface, which is fine for targets above ground. But for anything buried below the surface, a bunker buster can take it out with ease. Instead of detonating on contact, it uses kinetic force to penetrate first, then detonates on a delay, delivering a massive blast at maximum depth. So when it comes to destroying hardened structures, bunker busters are in a class of their own. On top of that, these weapons are incredibly accurate. The precision of a bunker buster depends on its guidance system. And once laser and GPS guidance systems were installed, accuracy went through the roof. They also carry smart fusing systems. These smart systems compare the bomb's depth against internal programming in real time, calculating how deep and how fast the bomb has penetrated. And once it reaches the designated depth, the smart fuse triggers detonation at exactly the right spot. However, with the rise of nuclear weapons, countries started burying their most critical military assets deep underground to protect them from conventional and nuclear strikes, as well as chemical, biological, and laser weapons. Against this backdrop, enthusiasm for bunker buster development surged worldwide. Massive military budgets poured in, and next-generation bunker busters with vastly improved power and performance soon followed. By the 1970s, countries like Germany, Britain, and Russia had all unveiled their latest bunker buster designs, hyping up how devastating they were. But since none had been used in actual combat, hardly anyone outside military enthusiasts paid much attention until 1991, when the US launched the Gulf War and used bunker busters in real combat for the first time on Iraq. The enemy's most heavily fortified site was the Almeria bomb shelter. The US military had been shelling it for days without leaving a scratch. That's how tough it was, and soon enough, it became a refuge for over 1,000 Iraqi civilians. What they didn't know was that before long, it would turn into a living hell. On February 13th, the US Air Force flew over the shelter and dropped 2 GBU-28 bunker busters. The GBU-28 can penetrate over 30 meters of earth, punch through 6 meters of concrete, with a strike accuracy within 1 to 3 meters. About 6 seconds after the bombs hit their target, the Almeria shelter exploded and collapsed instantly. Thick smoke poured from the rubble. And the worst part, of the more than 5,000 civilians sheltering inside, only 324 bodies were ever recovered after the blast. Just 14 people survived. Everyone else was gone. Not even bones left behind. The reason this American bunker buster was so devastatingly powerful is that it doesn't explode the moment it hits the ground. It punches through the surface and keeps going. Only when it reaches a certain depth does it detonate, destroying the target from its very foundation. And because everyone was trapped in a sealed underground space, the massive blast wave and heat had nowhere to go. It just raged through the bunker. Temperatures reached over 4,000 degrees, far beyond what the human body can withstand. Most of the civilians were vaporized into ash on the spot. America's first real-world test was a massive success, and after seeing the results, they ramped up production like crazy. They even developed a monster, the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator. The GBU-57 doesn't just pack an insane blast. Its penetration capability is a terrifying 200 meters. It can punch through 60 meters of concrete, drill 40 meters into solid rock, and even against ultra-reinforced concrete, it can still bore in 8 meters. This weapon sent shockwaves around the world, because America's intent was crystal clear. If it ever goes to war with someone, their underground military bases are sitting ducks. One bunker buster, and the backbone of a nation's defense turns to scrap. Overnight, countries around the world felt the threat. Everyone racked their brains for a countermeasure, and without exception, they all came up empty. Just when the whole world was stuck, China came up with a game changer that stunned everyone. And that game changer was ultra-high-performance concrete technology. To find the right cement for a bomb-resistant shield, Chinese engineers ran countless simulations and tested day after day after day. They not only developed their own special cement formula, but also dialed in the perfect mix ratio and ultimately created a special-grade concrete. This concrete uses ultra-high-strength materials with a compressive strength of 100 megapascals, reinforced with 1 to 2% steel fibers, giving it extreme impact resistance when hit with a high-intensity strike. This special concrete acts like a super bulletproof vest, wrapping tightly around the structure's exterior, rapidly dispersing the impact force, so nothing gets through to the inside. Even the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator can be stopped dead by structures coated in this special concrete. Because as intimidating as that monster sounds, it mainly relies on the bomb's own weight and the kinetic energy from a high-altitude drop to brute force its way into the ground. Against regular concrete, sure, it might penetrate 60 meters, but against ultra-high-strength concrete, all it leaves behind is a little white scratch. And China isn't the least bit afraid of America's bunker busters. Beyond having this unbreakable defensive technology, there's another key factor: fighting fire with fire. China has also developed its own bunker buster, and it's the only Earth-penetrating ballistic missile of its kind. The DF-15C outclasses the American version by orders of magnitude. This bunker buster can drill over 70 meters into reinforced concrete, and even penetrate 15 meters into ultra-high-strength concrete. And most critically, its accuracy is within less than 1 meter. Combined with a hypersonic booster on the tail, it delivers rapid pinpoint strikes. From the early bunker warfare of World War II, to the horrific civilian tragedy of the Gulf War, to the ultimate sword and shield showdown between superpowers today, the arms race has never really been about who can destroy more. It's about who can better protect their homeland.